He also wants to invoke something called the Insurrection Act, which will allow him to use U.S. military force against American civilians at home.
Misinformation specialist from the televised mental institution known as MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, went on Stephen Colbert's quote-unquote comedy show last night, and you're not going to believe who she compared Trump to.
And did very well against it.
That is the hopeful nature of this book, which I want to get into in just a moment. But first, I want to ask you about what's been happening recently. On Veterans Day, on a Veterans Day speech, Trump called the left vermin and fascists. And you know a truer thing about fascism in this book. Why do you think he's leaning into these comparisons?
Yeah, I think it's important that it very clearly wasn't an ad lib. This wasn't something that he riffed on. It seemed to have been in his teleprompter. Trump did that at the same time that we've had these leaks, kind of official leaks from his campaign, that he wants to build camps for millions of people, that he wants
professional camps, though.
Professional-looking camps. I like the no-Crocs element. It just classes it up a lot. Yeah. But camps for millions of people and Americans. He also wants to invoke something called the Insurrection Act, which will allow him to use U.S. military force against American civilians at home. And he says he's going to invoke that on day one, which would give him, from that day forward, the ability to use the army against us at home. Floating all of those things at once and calling his opponents vermin, he's deliberately inviting the criticism that he is behaving like a Hitler or Mussolini-style fascist.
There's so much there. So first off, just quickly on the word vermin, because maybe it is true. I think you could probably make some argument that maybe someone who wants to be president, who was president, shouldn't call his opponents vermin. It's a little different when, say, a pundit or a media guy makes fun of the other half. But maybe you could argue something around that. But at the same time, I can make the counter argument, which is you guys run around calling him Hitler and all the Republicans white supremacists all the time. So vermin or white supremacists, we could probably go either way on that. As far as using the military and building camps and everything else, it's not against the Americans. He's talking about how to deal with the illegal immigrants and the people that are here who are at these rallies who are radically anti-America and we've completely lost control of. Again, either you have a country or you don't. But the broader point, without even getting into the minutia of all of that, is that they are ramping up the Trump is Hitler thing. They have people out on the streets, their base, the MSNBC base, the Democrat base, the Ilhan Omar, Hamas caucus, Rashida Tlaib crew. They have thousands of people in our streets calling for the genocide of the Jews, and these clowns have the gall to say that Donald Trump is the next Hitler. It's just completely insane.